Did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
So clear. Prime Minister.
Yes, it did. As a result,
boy, the Epstein file release is damaging so many, and it seems very, very apparent that the majority of them are either Harvard professors, academics, I've been saying it for years, or these absolutely despicable, vapid, soulless Democrats. I've got so much to share with you, especially if you're watching this from the UK. Let me know where you're watching this from the UK, because this is the cover of The Sun recently saying Princes of Darkness as Andrew. I did a whole video on this. By the way, I have a whole playlist. If you're like, what in the world is going on? You have no idea. You want to get caught up on everything. I'll leave that in the description and show notes down below, as well as the pinned comment. Now you have the former ambassador to the U.S. from the UK, Peter Mandelson, who has just been exposed, and Keir Starmer, Mr. Talk Behind Trump's Back, Mr. I want to put people in jail for posting on Facebook, Mr. Really somebody who doesn't have UK's best interest in mind, if you ask me personally, is now having to face the fire. But first, I want to share this. So former UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, has been pictured wearing just his underwear and a shirt next to a woman in a bathrobe in the latest tranche of files tied to Jeffrey Epstein. It has also emerged, that Epstein sent $75,000 directly to Mandelson, according to the files. Mandelson is obviously a longtime Labour Party figure who was fired from the role over his ties to Epstein in September of 2025. Here he is seen with a dark shirt and briefs while talking to a woman wearing a robe. The woman's face has been redacted. Let me just zoom in on this a little bit so you can see this right there. Also, Wilson is holding a computer tablet and the woman is looking at the screen. In another photo, he is seen walking into a room clutching a tablet. Check this out. Mandelson's team said that no one can say who or where the photo was taken. Lord Mandelson absolutely had no idea, or indeed whether it has any connection to Epstein at all. Epstein also sent money from his JP Morgan banking accounts to accounts linked to Mandelson between May 2003 and June 2004. One $25,000 payment was sent to an account belonging to Mandelson's husband, Ronaldo da Silva. Mandelson was named as a beneficiary in that transactional document. Mandelson previously told Epstein, quote, he thought the world of him and described him as his best pal. Quote, I think the world of you, and I feel hopeless and furious about what has happened. And now Keir Starmer issues an apology after facing this heated exchange in the House of Commons. I'm going to share with you right now. Also, you got to come back. I've got two huge things to share with you. Number one, there's proof that there was tunnels underneath the Epstein Island ranch. Also, Whoopi Goldberg, Whoopi from The View, shows up in the files. And get this, Jeffrey Epstein emailed a list of names to himself only a week before he was... So you got to check this out. I've debunked it. I've decrypted it. The names, holy macadamia nut. You got to make sure you come on back. But first, watch this.
He knew this. I asked him at that dispatch box. He gave Mandelson his full confidence at that dispatch box, not once, but twice. He only sacked him after pressure from us. I am asking the Prime Minister something very specific, not about the generalities of the full extent. Can the Prime Minister tell us, did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
So clear. Prime Minister.
Yes, it did. As a result, various questions were put to him. I intend to disclose to this House all of the national security, prejudice to international relations on one side. I want to make sure this House sees the full documentation, so it will see for itself the extent to which time and time again Mandelson completely misrepresented the extent of his relationship with Epstein and lied throughout the process, including in response to the due diligence.
Mr. Speaker, I think it is shocking what the Prime Minister has just said. How can he stand up there saying that he knew, but he just asked Peter Mandelson if the security vetting was true or false? This is a man who had been sacked from cabinet twice already for unethical behaviour. That is absolutely shocking. And that is why later today, my party will call on the government to release all documents relating to Mandelson's appointment, not just the ones the Prime Minister wants us to see. Because this government is trying to sabotage that release with an amendment to let him choose what we see, the man who appointed Mandelson in the first place. Labour MPs now have to decide if they want to be accessories to his cover-up.
So what we have there is an admission of guilt. What we have there is damage control in the worst possible way. What we have there is the old school politician that we have a lot of these guys. We have a ton of Keir Starmers in the United States. This is why Trump stands out. This is why Trump is different. This is why Trump led a political revolution in our country, because he eradicated all the hypocrisy, all the posturing, all the ridiculous statements that mean nothing. They're empty and they mean nothing. Keir Starmer, as far as I'm concerned, he's finished, because he admitted he knew Peter Mandelson was friends with Epstein after, not before, after his conviction. And he still appointed him anyway. Starmer's finished. I mean, the guy's shaking. He knows it's game over. Remember what he said to Boris Johnson? It's time to resign. Hey, Keir, let me know if you're with me on this. I think it's time to resign. Starmer issued a pathetic kind of apology saying, I believe in accountability. And, so this was today. He apologized to Epstein victims. He admitted he believed lies from Peter Mandelson, whom he briefly appointed as UK ambassador. But I think it's official, because Kemi Badenoch has called for Keir Starmer to resign, has made it clear she's ready to work with Labour MPs to force a vote of no confidence. To me, this woman exemplifies leadership, accountability, game on.
Jeffrey Epstein, convicted paedophile, and Peter Mandelson continued to call this man his best pal, despite him being convicted of child prostitution. The real question is, how could the Prime Minister have appointed him our ambassador after all that? Labour tried to pull the wool over your eyes. Tonight, Conservatives forced Number 10 to come clean. We won. Despite the Prime Minister's best efforts, the government won't be marking its own homework or hiding behind something as vague as international relations. Starmer wanted secrecy because secrecy is his shelter. The Prime Minister signed off this appointment. This was not an accident. It was a choice. And the Prime Minister did not have the backbone to say no to his Chief of Staff and Mandelson protege, Morgan McSweeney. Maybe he just didn't care. That is not leadership. We are forcing the truth to come out, and we will make the Prime Minister own every line of it. And someone needs to lose their job for this.
I think Trump played 4D chess again. I really do. But I mean, a part of me thinks, no, not really, because he was always transparent. This guy is the most authentic, transparent president, leader of any sovereign nation, maybe in history, since Theodore Roosevelt, my favorite president of all time, next to President Trump. Everything has come out to exonerate him, to disinclude him from ever having anything to do with this crazy creep, this evil heathen. And if anything, it's all pointed towards Democrats. You've got Bill Gates in there. You've got Dershowitz in there. You've got all sorts of people in there. I mean, now this UK party, which is, the left-leaning party, holy macadamia nut. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Keir Starmer should resign? Do you think he should be forced to resign? I know we got a lot of great, intelligent, awesome viewers from the UK, but what happens in the UK affects the US and vice versa, because this is a connected globe now. It's a connected ecosystem. So everybody, let me know what you think. Now, we got tunnels, y'all. Tunnels in the Epstein Island. What? So this email right here, and back in 2018, it's from Jeffrey to Petty Seagal and Gary Kearney. And you can see Danny work this morning at the main compound. This is from Epstein at the bottom. Cell tower, coffee bench light, master light, terrace light. Peter steps first. Bryce, can you sketch out a plan where you want vehicles in the sheds and tunnels along with storage? And then Jeffrey, of the billing to date, $5,000 is for the ATV garage. I would not hold up payment of $105,500. Searching whether Genslen had direction from the team that added tunnels and offices below the main house. We recommend we go forward with payment and contract. Now, why this is a big deal is this had a lot of speculation throughout the years. I did an entire video that I think proves an at least valid, interesting point that this dude might still be alive. All the evidence is very, very circumstantial that says that he actually unalived himself. It's very suspect, I should say, more than circumstantial. So these tunnels kind of lead one to believe of some sort of escape plan a la El Chapo. And this was disproved and called conspiracy and called idiotic, just like Pizzagate was. We all know Pizzagate is real. I'll do a whole video probably examining Pizzagate in the future as well. Stick around. But this really confirms a lot of suspicions. And who knows, perhaps these tunnels were meant for, there's a lot of theories and a lot of speculation out there that, there were all sorts of gruesome sacrifices of young people. Oh, it's just so gruesome. And he would throw the bodies down these chutes, or are these escape routes? Why do you need tunnels under your house? What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Looky what I found. Whoopi Goldberg, worthless Whoopi Goldberg. All of these people crying, Epstein, release the Epstein. Why are you distracting? Why are you doing this? All of these absolute degenerates, these LADs, these lion-ass degenerates have been screaming Epstein. Well, now you got what you wanted, y'all, because now check this out. This was back in 2013, where it looks like Whoopi Goldberg requested to use Epstein's plane, and his response was, no thanks. Even Epstein has standards, y'all. But you can see here, maybe this is his assistant or something. I don't know who this is. Whoopi Goldberg needs a plane to get to Monaco. John Lennon's charity is paying for it. They don't want to charter, so they're looking for private owners. Here's the info, blah, 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 blah. And then at the very end, he says, would you want to offer the G2? And just one response from Epstein, no thanks. So as much as I despise worthless Whoopi, as much as I feel she's a degenerate, even the king degenerate thinks you're a degenerate, Whoopi. Hallelujah, we're all vindicated. Okay, now this email was sent by Jeffrey Epstein to himself. The subject reads, you can read it at the very top, list for Steve Bannon. This was June 30th, 2019. This was only a week before he was supposedly caught in his cell. Now, you look at some of these names. You see Mandelson at the very top. You'll see some Pritzker, J.B. Pritzker, Martin Novak, who's a Harvard professor, Krauss, who is the physicist. You also see Gates in there. You see Peter Thiel, Reid Hoffman, Gardner. You see all these names. Barack is in there. Chomsky is in there. You see a lot. Well, guess what? I have this all debunked, and I have this all. I have all of this totally decoded, and I'm going to share with you right now. This was also another interesting email attached to bottom of Alex file, which has all sorts of interesting institutions and theories. But here's the list right here. You want to know what was in that list? Check this out. Look at the names up there. Barack Obama, former U.S. president. Ehud Barak, former Israeli prime minister. Bill Clinton, former U.S. president. Alan Dershowitz, lawyer, professor. Bill Gates, co-founder of Microsoft. Brian Greene, physicist. Reid Hoffman. You don't see Trump's name on there, but you see Ken Starr, Lawrence Krauss. Take a screenshot of this if you want to, and you'll see Noam Chomsky in there. All of these guys are pretty much left-leaning. Anthony Hopkins, that's interesting, the actor. I just noticed that. Anthony Hopkins. Jamal Khashoggi is tied to Epstein. John Kerry, former U.S. Secretary of State. It goes on, and then you see Peter Mandelson at the very bottom, who we just discussed. Holy macadamia nut. Why do you think Epstein emailed this list of names to himself? Are these like kind of IOUs? There's an audio in the Epstein files. Remember, there's over 3 million files, so it's just insanely huge. There's no way I could cover it in 100 videos. It would take 1,000 videos to cover all of it. I'm trying to kind of really delineate and find the most important stuff. But there is an interesting audio of Epstein coaching former Prime Minister Ehud Barak on how to enter the private sector. And in it, he says something really interesting. He says, I want you to collect a Rolodex of people who owe you something. Maybe this is exactly the same advice he was giving to the former prime minister that he was concocting for himself. He was making a documentation. He was emailing a list of names to Steve Bannon. If something happened to him, or he can't get to these people, or he needs help in some way, maybe those people owed him an IOU. Lord knows they're all over the Epstein files. That's speculation, but it is very intriguing and interesting. I'd love to get your comments on this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like I said, I have a full playlist. You can get caught up on everything. I will leave a link to it in the pinned comment and in the description down below. I'll even put it on the end card. Make sure you tap that thumbs up. Please share this with everybody. Even if you're watching on TV, help us. Our mission is to make common sense go viral. You can help. Watch all these videos. Share them everywhere. Here's the playlist right here. Go tap on that next. Watch this video as well. You can also tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It doesn't cost you a thing, so you don't miss out, because I want to be releasing a lot of stuff. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.